All right, well, hopefully you just watched the intro, and what you're seeing is the new Tesla Model Y. It's the 2026, which was the codename Juniper up until now. Here in Langley, we are the first place in Canada to have it in the sales center. So I went there today, I checked it out, and just tried to get a bunch of footage and give my kind of overall first impressions. So I'm just gonna kind of talk about things and show you as much footage as I can from it that correlates with everything. The first thing is the frunk. It's quite a bit bigger. Something they've added is the drain plug, and what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to use it as a cooler or anything else there where there would be a bunch of liquid that you need to drain out after the fact. It's a really cool feature, honestly. Like, I love the idea that you could go camping, you could pop it open, fill it with ice, and at the end of the weekend, pop that drain plug, drain it all out the bottom of the car, you're good to go. And for those asking, the frunk is not powered, so it's going to be manual like it was previously. The thing that's different is it's kind of hard to explain, but comparing it to my Model 3, the new one, this has a lot more of like an ease of lift. So once you're starting to open it, you could lift it with one finger, it feels like, and it wants to like bring itself open. And then when you close it, it's a lot easier to close. It's, again, if you use a Tesla frunk a lot, you'll know they're kind of like, they're fine to open and close, but they're a little bit awkward. This closes and latches a lot more solid than it did before. So really good improvement there. Another thing you're going to see is the front bumper camera, and that's a huge change. I really wish my Model 3 had this, to be honest, but that's going to help a lot. There's a big blind spot there in the front of the car that you now no longer have to worry about. So if you're parking up close, doing anything like that, you have the view if you'd like it. And as well, on the website, Tesla says that Smart Summon and Full Self-Driving are going to leverage that bumper camera. So what happens there remains to be seen. I'm not sure what's going to exactly be the case for Full Self-Driving, if there'll be a different version from Model Y and Cybertruck that uses that front bumper camera, and the Model 3 and other vehicles won't use that. We'll see, but it is definitely noted as being a Full Self-Driving and Smart Summon enhancement. And then just another thing, looking at the outside of this vehicle, you're going to see the front light bar design. That's getting quite popular. There's a lot of EVs in China that have that now, but Tesla has implemented that with they've shown it obviously with the RoboCab and now the Model Y and the Cybertruck. So it looks like they're kind of going for that front bar design. And I'm imagining the next vehicle that gets refreshed, if it's the S or the X, would more likely than not get that same light bar design. I really like it. It looks good. There's people saying that don't really like it, but to each their own, right? The interior overall seems a lot more impressive, a lot more upgraded and refined. I think if you're coming from an existing Model Y and this is your upgrade, you're going to be overall incredibly impressed. For me, it feels very similar to my refresh Model 3. And for me, when I get an old Model 3, I feel like that car is quite dated. So I feel like the differences are going to be very similar there. If you're in an old Y getting into a new one, you're going to feel the same way that if you have a refresh 3 and you get an old 3, it just feels brought up to date. Everything has a really good build quality. There's not many squeaks. There's not many build issues. Like, everything feels premium. And something that this vehicle has that people weren't really expecting is turn stock is back. That's just the turn signals. That's not your headlights. That's not FSD. It's just a stock for the left and right turn. But it's back. People were complaining about it being on the Model 3 on the wheel. I personally don't mind it. I got used to it, and honestly, I use FSD for 99% of my driving, so it doesn't bother me. The official statement from Tesla was that this makes it more family friendly, I think. I think it's just a good thing. People were willing to not buy the car, from what I heard, because it didn't have turn signals, whereas I don't think anybody's not going to buy a car because it has a turn stock, right? So good change. I mean, it's nice, it's there. So the only issue is if you have a refresh Model 3 and a refresh Model Y, the wheel layout and the buttons are different. Like, buttons have moved around, so the muscle memory is going to be confusing, bouncing back and forth between those two cars. That'd be my only small complaint with this change. And for the back of the vehicle, there's a new rear light bar design. I love it. It looks really good. It's going to be unmistakable when you're behind this vehicle in traffic. You're going to know that's the new Model Y. You're going to know it's a Tesla. And from what I've seen at night, like, it looks really, really good. In the broad daylight in the showroom, it looked really good. So I'm excited to see this thing at night. And so this has dual folding rear seats. They'll both fold down and up for you with the push of a button. And they're apparently fastest in the industry. I don't know exactly how Tesla is measuring that, but I guess that's a good thing. And a really small thing, but it's cool. When you press the button, if the front seats are unoccupied and they're too far back, they will slide forward to make room for the seats so that they can fold down. and then they'll slide back into the position that they were. And then that same goes for if you're trying to fold up the seats. The seats will move forward, the seats can come up, and then the front seats will move back into the position. So really small quality of life thing that I appreciate that Tesla put in there. And as well, I didn't get a shot of it, but the middle of the back seats can fold down on their own. And then if you have like a snowboard or skis or some sort of like long piece of like wood from Home Depot, you can fold it down and run it like that. And so the way it works currently, there is just a launch edition. Like if you go on the website and you try to pre-order this right now, there's only the launch edition. And I think that's just their way of getting rid of the existing inventory. So you could currently right now go and buy an old Model Y and you can get in all 3 variants, or you can just get the launch edition, which is the long range all-wheel drive. And it seems quite a bit more expensive, but basically what it is that they're doing is they're including everything in the launch edition. That's full self-driving, that's every single option that you could want is prepaid for. So if you're buying a Model Y and you want FSD, you want the white interior, you want one of the premium colors, you're looking for a tow hitch, if all of those are things you're looking for, if you actually price it out, getting the launch edition is cheaper than getting existing Model Y with all those same options. If you want all those things, you should definitely get the launch edition. And then as well as the obvious big changes in the launch edition that I've mentioned, there is the small changes in the interior. So near your wireless charger, it says launch edition. On the door sill, it says launch edition. There's a special launch edition light on the ground. I don't know what to call that. Light bar, but it's not light bar. And as well, the interior in the vehicle is a launch edition interior. It's a vegan suede, I think. So just a bunch of those things. And I don't know if those will probably just all go away actually. When the launch edition goes away, I don't know if you'll be able to get that vegan suede again. I don't know how any of that other stuff goes, but I think if you're interested in getting this car and all that kind of matters to you, it's worth getting now. And then I guess the only other thing that's kind of interesting is I was looking under the hood and there's a sticker, and this is actually noted as being a 2026 Tesla Model Y. So Tesla's famously not really cared to number their cars by year, but they're calling it a 2026, which is confusing because it's January 2025, but regardless, I guess it is technically correct to call it a 2026 Model Y. Yeah, and I asked them about demo drives, and they said as soon as they get a second one, I can take it out, and when that happens, I will do a more in-depth video where I go out with it. But if you have any other questions that I can answer by being hands-on with it, let me know. I'll include a link to some photos and some more videos as well on the video. And yeah, any questions, let me know. Leave in the comments. Take care.